Let's look at using and citing text evidence. Text evidence is information, details, or quotes from a text that support a claim, idea, or answer. It's used to demonstrate that your interpretation or analysis of the text is valid and grounded in the text itself, rather than just your own personal opinion. When we cite text evidence, there are 3 ways to do it. The first way is by directly quoting the text, which is taking what the text says word for word and putting it in your paper. The second way is paraphrasing the text, which is taking a piece of what the text says and putting it into your own words. The third way is summarizing the text, which is taking a larger piece of what the text says and shortening it when you put it into your own words. For all 3 ways to cite evidence, we must always remember that we need to give credit to the author of the text by including what we call a text citation, because you don't want to plagiarize the text. Plagiarism is when you take somebody else's ideas, and quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing the text is looking at the ideas of a different author. It's not your own thoughts, it's theirs, so you need to give them credit. We use the MLA format to give credit to the author of texts in the form of parenthetical citations. In MLA format, parenthetical citations, which we can also call in-text citations, are used to give credit to sources within the body of your paper. They typically include the author's last name and page number. Like the example, parenthesis, Smith, space, 12, parenthesis, period. The period, as you noticed for the sentence, follows the closing parentheses. If the text doesn't have page numbers, you should just use the author's last name in the parentheses. And if the source you want to cite in the MLA style doesn't have a listed author, you should use the title of the work instead. So you would put parenthesis, title, space, and the page number, parenthesis, period. Let's practice. First, we need a text. Hercules by Walt Disney. Zeus and Hera are awakened by a commotion. Startled, Hera asks, "What is it?" They look at each other with a sudden realization and exclaim, "The baby." They run to the nursery only to discover an empty, toppled-over crib. Hera helplessly screams out for her son and begins sobbing. Zeus, overwhelmed by Hera's sobs, screams in a fit of rage, igniting a storm of lightning, while minions of Hades, pain and panic, fly baby Hercules down to earth. So let's practice citing text evidence as a quote. Notice I start with a quotation mark. Hera helplessly screams out for her son and begins sobbing. Zeus, overwhelmed by Hera's sobs, screams in a fit of rage, igniting a storm of lightning, quotation mark, parenthesis, author's last name Disney, and page 1, parenthesis, period. Let's take that same direct quote, but instead of directly quoting the text, let's cite that as a paraphrase. When Hera realizes her son is gone, she cries, while Zeus angrily blasts lightning bolts into the sky. Parenthesis, Disney, 1, parenthesis, period. Notice the idea of the text is present, but it's not word for word, and I include the MLA parenthetical citation to give credit to the author. Now the last idea is summarize. This is going to be a summary of the whole text in this case. One night, Zeus and Hera wake up when they hear a noise coming from the nursery. They run into the room, but it's too late. Hercules is gone. Parenthesis, Disney, 1, parenthesis, period. Notice how it's in my own words, but the idea is still from this text. It is shortened down, but I still need to give credit to where that idea came from, which is Disney. So let's review. 1, we use evidence to support our claims. 2, Evidence can be written as a quote, a paraphrase, or a summary of a text. 3. All three types of evidence need to be cited to avoid plagiarism, stealing someone else's ideas. 4. In ELA, we're going to be using the MLA format. And 5, MLA uses parenthetical citations, and they should look like this: parenthesis, last name of the author, space, page number, parenthesis, period.